This is a quick video review of the Aquarium Engineering protein skimmer and calcium reactor here at Williamsport Area High School in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. These are built by Bill Wan out in Wisconsin, and they're absolutely unbelievable pieces of equipment. So what we do here in the fish room is we have a submersible pump in this sump here. That's a 100-gallon Rubbermaid sump. It's the black line that feeds out of the sump and comes along here, along this stand, and a 1-inch line up into our 650-gallon Predator tank. And so that's the supply line to the Predator tank. The overflow from the Predator tank comes out this black line here. It's a 1.5-inch overflow, and then heads on into the skimmer. The skimmer intake is right over here. So the water flows into the body of the skimmer, and then the other thing that feeds into the skimmer is air from the Alita linear air pump. So the air pump sits up here. We have a bypass from the air pump, so some of the air from the air pump flows through an Ozotech ozone reactor. That runs all the time, so we have a 3,000-gallon system here. We have it on full tilt. The ozone comes into this port right here, and the air is fed into the volute on the bottom of the skimmer on this side. So the air comes in on the left side and mixes on the intake of this reflow dart bowl pump, and the pump mixes the air and water and recirculates water within the skimmer body. And then we have all this really great foam here on our 3,000-gallon system. We fill this cup pretty much daily, and then the outlet of the bottom of the skimmer cup, we have a valve, and that valve runs to a floor drain. And in order to have air makeup, the outlet comes up and into a little contraption that I built here, because sometimes the skimmer gets kind of really foamy, and so foam can rise up through that and pop at the top and then go back straight down, because we've had some overflow issues. But hey, what's wrong with having a skimmer that overflows a little bit and it makes a whole lot of foam? It's really produces some unbelievably disgusting stuff. And the other thing that we have is calcium reactor. It was just arrived this week. So we actually tee off from our 1-inch line, and the 1-inch line goes into a John Guest line where we have a valve so we can shut off the flow. So that line runs over to the intake of the calcium reactor. The intake of the calcium reactor comes into the bottom of this valve. This is a needle valve here that controls the flow in through the reactor. The carbon dioxide is provided by this carbon dioxide tank. We have an air bubbler, and my carbon dioxide is nearly out. Need to replace the tank. On top of the bubbler, we have a check valve just for insurance. And then the carbon dioxide comes on into the intake, which is right over here. There's a little valve, and the valve is at the full open position right now. And that carbon dioxide feeds down this line and then into the intake of the pump. And then the outlet of the pump pumps water into the bottom of the skimmer and rises up through. And Bill has a unique recirculating design, so you see carbon dioxide bubbling up through, and then there's a separator at the top. The outlet of the calcium reactor, where the effluent comes out, is this yellow line here, and we have it running up. And for convenience sake, since it's quite a distance over to the nearest sump, we just have that hole drilled into the side of the return for the protein skimmer, and you can see the water here dripping, and the water just drips down in. Both the protein skimmer and the calcium reactor run in this 1.5-inch line, and it heads back over and into one of our sumps. And then this sump then drains into the sump beside it with some 1.5-inch lines. We also have all these crossover lines and whatnot. So Bill's equipment is really incredible. I highly recommend it to anyone who is looking for a really well-built protein skimmer and calcium reactor. The protein skimmer is really set it and forget it. It's super easy to operate. Once you get the flow set right and the air set right, There is hardly any maintenance whatsoever. Just cleaning out the skimmer cup. Of all the skimmers I've ever had, this is the best producing skimmer. Very little cleaning issues, and hardly any adjustment once it's set up. So thanks a lot. Visit Bill's website at Aquarium Engineering. You can find it on Facebook, and you can also find them on the web. And some of my lights are shutting off. So thanks a lot.